Friends, we can all see that many white bloggers have millions of followers. Please support me too, because my followers are still few. Black bloggers also deserve to be famous. Raise fist medium dark skin tone. My friends, let's unite and lift each other up. Please press subscribe button and like. It was a bustling evening at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, where the air was thick with impatience, and the sound of rolling luggage echoed through the terminal. Among the weary travelers was Sarah Thompson, a 49-year-old marketing consultant from Dallas. After a long day of meetings, she was exhausted and eager to return home. Her connecting flight had been delayed for over 3 hours, and her frustration was palpable. When the announcement for first-class boarding finally came, Sarah felt a surge of relief. She strode confidently toward the gate, her eyes scanning the cabin for the perfect seat. Spotting an empty window seat in row 2A, she wasted no time sliding into it, draping her designer jacket over the armrest as if claiming her territory. A sigh of relief escaped her lips, a sound of triumph after a long day. Moments later, the rightful owner of that seat appeared. Mark Anderson, a 38-year-old entrepreneur, walked down the aisle with a calm demeanor. Dressed in a tailored navy suit, he exuded an air of quiet confidence. In his hand, he held his boarding pass, eyes fixed on the seat that was rightfully his. He stopped beside Sarah and cleared his throat. "Excuse me," he said, his voice steady but firm. "I believe you're in my seat. This is 2A. Sarah barely glanced at him, her expression dismissive. "I think you made a mistake," she replied, waving her hand as if brushing off an annoyance. "Check your ticket again." A hush fell over the nearby rows. A businessman in 3B leaned forward, pretending to read his magazine, but clearly eavesdropping. A college student across the aisle paused her music, intrigued by the unfolding drama. Even the flight attendant, who had been greeting passengers, glanced over, sensing the tension. Mark remained composed, holding out his boarding pass. "It says 2A right here," he stated calmly. The attendant stepped closer, confirming the ticket. "Yes, ma'am. This is Mr. Anderson's assigned seat." Sarah's expression hardened. "Well, I'm already here," she said, her tone a mix of annoyance and authority. "Can't he just sit somewhere else?" Gasps rippled through the cabin. The businessman in 3B shook his head in disbelief, while the college student's eyes widened. Mark's calmness only intensified the tension as he stood there, waiting patiently. "Ma'am, we need you to take your assigned seat," the attendant urged gently. With a heavy sigh, Sarah leaned back in her seat, crossing her arms defiantly. "This is ridiculous. I've been traveling all day. Why can't he just take another seat?" Mark's eyes didn't waver. "I'd like to speak to the captain," he said evenly, his voice carrying a quiet authority that caught even the flight attendant off guard. Passengers shifted in their seats, phones discreetly appearing in hands, recording what had become more than just a seating dispute. It was a moment that felt charged with something larger, something that was about to explode. Minutes later, the captain, a tall man with silver hair and a commanding presence, approached. "Mr. Anderson," he greeted warmly, extending his hand. "Good to see you again. How are you this evening?" A collective gasp rippled through the cabin. This wasn't the kind of greeting given to just any passenger. Mark shook the captain's hand firmly, a faint smile on his lips. "Doing well, thank you. Looking forward to getting this flight underway." The captain turned to Sarah, his voice polite but firm. "Ma'am, this gentleman is in his assigned seat. I need you to return to your own, so we can depart on time." Sarah's cheeks flushed crimson. "Wait, you know him?" she stammered, disbelief etched on her face. "Yes," the captain replied. "Mr. Anderson is the CEO of this airline. Now, please let's not delay the other passengers any further." The silence that followed was deafening. Sarah's eyes darted between the captain and Mark, her face tightening in humiliation. As she squeezed past Mark, she muttered just loud enough for him to hear. "Well, good for you." Mark didn't flinch. He simply slid into 2A, calm as ever. The captain nodded respectfully before returning to the cockpit, leaving the passengers to absorb what they had just witnessed. The atmosphere shifted. Whispers darted through the cabin like sparks. One woman leaned toward her husband. "He's the CEO? He looks so young." Another passenger pulled out his phone, typing furiously. Meanwhile, Sarah sat in her actual seat, her embarrassment radiating like heat. The defiance that once marked her posture had melted into quiet humiliation. Mark leaned back in his seat, closing his eyes briefly, not gloating, but allowing the truth to stand on its OW and as the plane prepared for takeoff. The story of Row 2 began to spread beyond the cabin. Passengers sat tall in their seats, stealing glances at Sarah, who now looked like she wanted to vanish. Her face was rigid, her hands tied around her purse strap. Across the aisle, Tyler Mendes, the college student, whispered into his phone, "I'm telling you, this lady tried to steal his seat and he's the CEO. I'll send you the video." The moment the plane landed, the footage of the incident began to circulate online. Tyler uploaded the video with the blunt caption, "Woman takes man's seat in first class, finds out he owns Airline." Within minutes, it went viral, racking up thousands of views. News outlets picked it up, framing it not just as an awkward in-flight spat, but as a story about assumptions, bias, and the consequences of arrogance. Social media exploded with comments, memes, and discussions about respect and entitlement. As the days passed, Sarah's name became synonymous with embarrassment. She deleted her social media accounts, but the internet is rarely merciful. Meanwhile, Mark remained silent, his composure earning him respect and admiration. But the story was far from over. The real intrigue lay in the aftermath of the incident. As Mark continued his journey, he found himself at the center of a conversation that transcended the flight. People began to discuss not just the incident itself, but the broader implications of respect, privilege, and the assumptions we make about others in the days that followed. Mark received messages from people across the country, praising his calm demeanor and the way he handled the situation. He became a symbol of dignity in the face of adversity, a reminder that respect should be given freely, regardless of one's position. Meanwhile, Sarah faced the consequences of her actions. The internet had turned her into a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of arrogance and entitlement. As she scrolled through the comments and memes, she felt the weight of her mistake pressing down on her. But the most surprising twist came when Mark decided to address the situation publicly. He released a statement that resonated with many, emphasizing the importance of treating everyone with respect, regardless of their appearance or status. His words struck a chord, sparking discussions in boardrooms, classrooms, and living rooms across the nation. As the story continued to unfold, it became clear that the incident was more than just a viral moment. It was a catalyst for change. People began to reflect on their own biases and assumptions, leading to conversations about respect and dignity in everyday interactions. And so, the tale of Row 2 became a powerful reminder of the impact our words and actions can have on others. It was a story that would linger long after the flight had landed, a lesson in humility, respect, and the importance of recognizing humanity in everyone we encounter. But just as the world began to digest the implications of the incident, a new development emerged that would take the story to an entirely different level. To be continued. Dear listeners, did you enjoy today's story? If you are interested in the fate of our heroes, we will definitely prepare the next parts. Subscribe, because your attention and feedback are our greatest source of inspiration.